The Link Show, good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us. Great to have you here with us. My name is Dougal, and with me is Rhoda. Good afternoon, Rhoda. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Dougal. I'm doing well. Welcome, everybody, to the Link Show.
Yes, absolutely wonderful to be with you, of course, and we're talking all things Northlink. And also joining us for this show is deaf interpreter Jabbar. But you know what? This is exciting because what we're going to be talking about is all things Northlink, and more importantly, today's topic is super exciting and so positive in many ways. So this is definitely one you don't want to miss. Now, very important, of course, this is a live broadcast, so you know what? We welcome your comments and your questions, and of course, you just go on the link on the Link Show, on the details you'll find there at the bottom of the screen. Click on there, and we look forward to your comments and questions. But Rhoda, let's get straight into it, because this is what we're talking about today. Ultimately, of course, you want to make Northlink your tertiary institution of choice. And there's plenty of reasons to do it. This is just another added reason. This is just extra, bonus, parcella. And this is what makes it really exciting, because what we're talking about today, we're talking about self-employment, and it is a career choice. We're talking about that versus getting a job. What are the options? In other words, in a nutshell, entrepreneurship.
That is so true. And today our first guest on our panel is Mr. Nico Zille, and he's an officer at Entrepreneurs and Development at Northlink College. He's going to be able to tell us a bit more about the course that they offer at Northlink. So welcome, Nico Zille, Mr. Nico Zille.
Thank you very much. How are you guys doing?
Excellent, thank you. Things on your side, you all right?
Yeah, no, we're doing good. We're doing good. Thank you.
Exciting. So the very first question, I know this is quite a hot topic, because there's a lot of people out there that want to be entrepreneurs. And you know what? Obviously, not even knowing that Northlink actually offers this course. So the first question I'd like to ask you is, why did you choose entrepreneurship development as a career?
Yeah, it's a question that cannot be easily answered in a sentence or two. But whilst I was employed in the banking sector and working with business clients, the whole idea started to develop in me that I do not just want to offer financial services to a business customer. I would like to also offer them a business advice. And because one could often see gaps in the way that they came into the bank, present themselves, and what they think that they would need. And I think there it was already born that I would like to work with business people, but from a different perspective of it.
Oh, okay. Because this is just listening to what you said there. I mean, this is very progressive. This is an exceptional progressive thought. So to choose to do entrepreneurship development within the TVET sector, I suppose that is exceptionally progressive, because normally you would think somebody would have an amazing skill set before they actually start doing that as an entrepreneur. But within the TVET sector, we're talking in the foundation phase, really, of when it comes to career. So why would you choose to do it then?
Yeah, that is also a journey that I had to take. When I left the bank and resigned, I wanted to start immediately with entrepreneurship development and in the sector. But I thought, after studying and working with business people, that I had the skills and the necessary motivation to do that. But life had to take me literally on a 21-year journey to understand what is needed in the market space. And for the last couple of years, I've been lecturing, and also in entrepreneurship, new venture creation, business studies. And one realizes that, there's a lot of skills being imparted to the students, and there's a lot of knowledge that we impart to the students, but that with our current state of affairs in the country, that they might need to use these skills and this knowledge to look after themselves and not just go out there and find a job, because jobs are so scarce. And so what do you do with what you've now learned? And that's why I'm so excited about having this opportunity to work in this sector and to help our students, taking that step, and often that step of faith, and say, you know what, things are bad, but I have what I've received now and what I've learned for. Let me see how I can apply that. And that's why I love this sector. because, you know, these young people studying here, they're the future of our country.
Oh, yeah.
And I always ask my students, and I say to them, in 20 years' time, I'm going to be a certain age. What age are you going to be? And then they're in their 30s. And then I say, well, in your 30s, I'm going to be the one that you have to look after. You're the future of our country. So we need to make sure that it's a good future.
I'm loving all of that, Nico, and I think I fully agree with you because of the fact that I think our generations has been raised to say that you need to go and work, you need to go and find your job, you need to go and work at government and things like that, obviously. And so few parents actually encourage the kids to actually look at an opportunity to be an entrepreneur. So I'm loving that. So I'm a student, I'm wanting to go and study and I want to be an entrepreneur. What is the course they need to apply for at your department? And then obviously, what do you guys offer at the department as well?
Okay, so at Northlink, we've got a wide variety of courses already incorporating studies into entrepreneurship and business management. There's a variety of the campuses that's already offering that to students. We've got Introduction to Entrepreneurship. We've got a course called EBM Entrepreneurship and Business Management. At some of the campuses, we've got New Venture Creation. So these courses are already part of the curriculums as part of a field of study. So when a student now goes through that exposure, then they have the opportunity now, when engaging with the entrepreneurship department, that they can take that, what they've learned, and through a process of maybe, you know, getting an idea and say, hey, but maybe there's a gap in the market. I see something. Let me see if I can then take this opportunity further. And that's where we can come in and assist the student and to say, but is this a viable business idea that you have? And take that process further for the student. Up to now, there was a gap that they had to go and look outside of the college for that type of assistance, and now it's available at the college.
Wow, so that is absolutely brilliant. So just to reiterate what you are saying now, so while you are studying at Northlink, you are being exposed and also schooled, for the lack of a better term, in terms of entrepreneurship and just business in general as well. So really the thing that you are studying, you're getting more than what a person would generally assume.
Yes. And that is really, and I've heard somebody say to me one day, you know what, often entrepreneurship is not taught because it can become very theoretical. And often entrepreneurship should be caught. And in the process of being, you know, within the Northlink space for a year, up to 3 years and even longer, that during that process, we would like to provide them the opportunity that entrepreneurship can be caught, and that the lights will go on and say, hey, this is something I can do, and this is something I need to pursue as well.
And just on that as well, I'm just thinking now, a lot of these, the very first generation of business entrepreneurs as well, that has no background, family that actually knows exactly what it entails. And I'm thinking what I'm loving about this is obviously the fact that this is exactly what you're doing. You're teaching those that's got no background, doesn't know how to start a business, on how to be an entrepreneur. You're basically laying the foundation for them, am I correct?
Yes, and I'm one of the people that were told, get a job, you know, work yourself up. It's a vertical process, you know, and nowadays, you know, the world has become much more lateral, and, you know, sometimes you need to move sideways to go up. And yeah, it's really to turn the theory into practice at the end of the day.
So just in closing, before we get your details on the department and how people will get to go and to get in touch with you, let me ask you this. So what is your dream then for Northlink? Where do you see this going as far as the Entrepreneurship Advancement Center is concerned?
Okay, so Northlink, I was appointed and started in the position in January, and it's fairly new. So Northlink is in the process of establishing, you know, the physical resources for the Entrepreneurship Advancement Center. And the dream is really that students and graduate students, that's where our focus is at this stage with regards to marketing, that they can come to a place where they can get the necessary business support. In other words, just business advice in general, or then that they can have a resource available. Maybe they want to set up a meeting, they've got no other place to go, that we will have a resource available so that they can have a boardroom meeting, do some research, getting assistance to get a company registered or understand what it means to get a company registered, make sure that they become compliant according to the South African law, and then give them further business advice, mentoring and coaching over a period of time, just to strengthen them in the whole process of establishing a workable solution for themselves.
And you could just to be clear, can anybody contact the Entrepreneurship Advancement Center?
At this stage, we are focusing our awareness at the current students and our graduates, our alumni. And, as I have worked and moved through life, I've met many people that still know me, and I worked in business consulting before. And if a person should contact me, we won't send them away. The whole idea is that the center will develop, and with the assistance of the department, that we will become a more, I can say, encompass much more of entrepreneurship at Northlink College. And in that sense, we will look at any entrepreneur that will come to us. But our marketing effort at this stage is focused at our current students and our graduates.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. So just before we close, or not close, but before we let you go, Nico, where can these students then contact you?
Okay, we've got a dedicated email address, which is entrepreneur@northlink.co.za. And that email address is linked to my portfolio. And they can also contact the office at 021 970 9151.
Perfect.
And that is my direct, direct line.
Excellent.
Nico Zili, thank you so much for your time here on the Link Show. It was absolutely wonderful talking to you. Thank you for all the insight, meneer. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That is Nico Zili. He's the Officer of Entrepreneurship Development at Northlink. And I tell you what, Rhoda, he said a lot of things. Because let me get straight into this. Entrepreneurship is a big thing. As a student, this is the thing. You got the big dreams. You're in that phase. This is it. And it is absolutely fantastic to know that if you do that, you are being shown the ropes as well. So this is why when learners, prospective students are discussing with this parent, this is one quality and one aspect you really got to look at it. And that is definitely going to make Northlink a destination of choice. So I like that. I like that.
And just on that as well, Dougal, for me it's quite interesting for the fact that a lot of the students now that they're offering this to is obviously the existing alumni, and the fact that they've been there, they've gone to work, they've figured out a few things by the stage because they've done basically studying. And this is exactly where they will then say, maybe I can become an entrepreneur. Being outside in the workplace and now having to say, maybe I can be an entrepreneur. And they're offering this to their students.
No, it is absolutely fantastic. And of course, that's what we're talking about, entrepreneurship. How do you go about it? And it's happening in Northlink for you, of course. This is where you will be getting all the information, of course, and this is part of the course, which is absolutely fantastic. And this is what the Link Show is all about. So we welcome your questions and comments. Of course, you've got any on that topic, you send it through. Kanya, we see you watching. Thank you very much for watching. Moving on, our next guest on the Link Show today is Zyda Jackson, and she's a brand manager of CEDA, which is the Small Enterprise Development Agency. So that's the government perspective.
That is
what it is.
Exactly.
Joining us on the Link Show, Zyda, good day. How are you doing?
I'm well, thanks. I hope you guys are well too.
Oh, we're
absolutely awesome. So just to be clear, what is CEDA and what role do you play?
Okay. So it's a national program. It's one of the implementation arms of the Department of Small Business Development. And it is what CEDA does is non-financial business development support. And it says very clearly that on the CEDA website, because people still get confused. We don't do funding. We're not a financial institution. We do business development support. And that encompasses things like relevant business advice, linkages to other stakeholders. We do entrepreneurial training, as well as subsidized interventions for businesses that are generating revenue.
Okay, I want to ask you this, because entrepreneurship has become has become a word that gets thrown around a lot. I mean, it is always part in any narrative. In your personal experience, have you seen an uptake? Have you seen a bigger increase to, let's say, from a few years ago?
Yes, and it's probably most likely because we live in a country with a massive unemployment rate. A lot of graduates can't find work. And one of the things is that we, as CEDA, we work with people from ideation stage right to export market. We're not allowed to turn anyone away. So we will, if somebody comes to us and doesn't have a clue, we will put them on a program of training where we actually, it's idea generation, where they can actually start thinking about the kind of business they should start. But as I said, we work from all, and for me, it's about creating innovation, creating people who are going to create other jobs, improve the economy, because South Africa needs that. And so yes, with more graduates not getting work, and it shouldn't be. Also, a lot of our previous disadvantaged youth don't have, as you mentioned earlier, they don't have parents or grandparents that are second, third generation business owners. They didn't come from that environment. So for them, it's quite a challenge to start thinking entrepreneurially, and that's the space that we basically play in.
Yeah. I'm loving all of this, Zaida, because of the fact that for me, just looking and listening to you, it's really like, you know, that CEDA is actually there to hold your hand and actually just say, come, you're not alone in this, you know, we're here for you. So my question to you is, at CEDA, what is your role at CEDA, personally?
So I'm the manager for the city of Cape Town, which consists of 4 branches within the city of Cape Town Metropole. I have offices in, my core branch is in Bellville, opposite SARS. I have an office in the CBD, one in Khayelitsha and one in Atlantis.
Okay. On that, just a little side note. So why did you choose to work with entrepreneurs?
Okay, so I'm a dinosaur in the industry. I've been in entrepreneurship development since the beginning of 2001. It wasn't always government. We worked for a private non-profit organization. It was funded by the Scandinavian countries. We worked predominantly with manufacturing SMMEs. And then basically in 2005, the then president, they incorporated the Small Business Act of 2005, and CEDA was born out of that.
Okay, perfect.
We got incorporated into governments. It wasn't necessarily a choice at the time, but and that, it's basically, it was just the way things progressed, and so
And I think that was going to be my question now also to you, was why did you choose to work with government sphere in entrepreneurship? So just on that, so who is your target markets then at CEDA?
Everyone. Any small, medium enterprise. As I said, we work from people that have a concept, an idea, right through to people that export. So we've got a wide range of services we offer, and we don't, as I said, we don't turn people away. We might refer them, as Nico mentioned also earlier, to someone else in the space that we think might be better suited to what they are looking for. But generally, from people that come in with a concept or want to start a business, we guide them through a process. And we also we do a lot of international export development. We take CEDA supports clients going into the rest of the world. Now, after COVID, we've been focusing quite a lot on Africa. We've just done Tanzania, Ghana, and Kenya. So we take clients on export programs where they can showcase their products and things.
Yeah. So, Zaida, what I wanted to ask you is, like, what does an entrepreneur need, you know, and how would you make use of CEDA services?
Okay, so it depends on, so if someone decides that they want to start a business, generally my thing is always look at what is your passion, because if you have a passion for something, we can always look at what other skills from a technical perspective that you require and look at filling those gaps. But it is not a case of somebody turning around and saying, I want to start a business because I want to play golf 5 days a week. Then I think there's something skewed there. Now, it's about somebody wanting to generate their own wealth, because working for a boss, you're never going to get that in that space. So if you need to be passionate about something, you need to have the drive to actually want to be your own boss, to create other employment for other opportunities for other people. And as I said, with that should come creating wealth within the environment.
Okay. And just listening to the environment, obviously, in the current situation we're finding ourselves within South Africa, obviously, why do you feel is it important to start, why is it important to start a new business within the context of South Africa at the moment?
I think we're a country of absolute enormous opportunities. And so there's lots and lots of opportunities out there for people that have the right drive, the right passion. And it is for somebody who is sitting not knowing what to do with themselves. We want to make, as Nico mentioned about the youth, the next generation, the future generation, we need to make sure that they have a little bit more focus in terms of wanting to create wealth. And I think entrepreneurship is the space where you actually find that it's possible. I always tell people that, you know, the guy that started Nike, he started in his mother's garage. So stole a waffle iron and made that waffle weave on the shoes. So if he can start from a garage and become a multi-million-dollar company, then what's stopping anyone else from doing that?
Yeah.
So true.
How do you see the future of entrepreneurship in South Africa? Because a lot of parents, prospective students, they're looking at that because that is the catalyst choice in terms of, do I choose to go to Northlink?
Yeah, as I said, I think it is the future. One of the things that we've discovered, I don't know if you guys are aware of the GEM report, which is the Global Entrepreneurial Monitor, comes out every year at vast expense. It looks at the international entrepreneurial space. And we as South Africa, we've gone backward in the last couple of years, because I think a lot of people don't understand that for entrepreneurs to be successful, you also need to have some kind of qualification and skills. Because if you have somebody that has very limited basic education, they're going to have a challenge understanding some of the business management training that they're being given. And so for us, there's certain things we can fill certain gaps, but I still believe that there is a massive space, and we as South Africa, as a country that's a young country still, there are phenomenal opportunities for people to actually get into that environment. So for parents who have young people that are not sure, let them, I think maybe Northlink has got on the right track. We're trying to get them from an education point of view, get them onto that space before they even look at coming to an organization. And they can work with both. I mean, they don't have to first graduate at Northlink. They can always come to Cedar while they are studying at Northlink.
Definitely. I'm
I
loving
like that. So how do people get in touch with you? Is there a route to follow, certain protocols that I need to do before I can get in touch with you?
So there's a Cedar website. My contact details are on there, but for the core branch, as it is in Bellville, it's opposite SARS. It's on the second floor of the Lowville place. I can give an email address for my information officer, who generally is the first port of call, and her email address is asimon, all lowercase, at seda.org.za. The telephone number at the Bellville core branch is 021-949-2227.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of that. So, Zaida, thank you so much for joining us, branch manager of Cedar. We wish you well, and thank you for your time on the Link Show today.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. So that number, you can definitely give him a call there on is 021-949-2227. That is the number, of course, for Cedar. And you got to love that, Rhoda. Just to recap on what she said, when it comes to the small enterprise development agency, they there. And I mean, let's paint the picture. You get your certificate in Northlink while you study. This is extra that is plugged into that. So this is brilliant.
And on that as well, Doug, sorry to be messing in your mouth. The fact that Cedar is actually there to be able to help you, and at no funding, they're there to assist you. They're not charging you for their services. And the way I do understand is, if you're wanting a business plan done, if you're needing some information, you know, they're actually using external people, other small businesses, to assist you to be able to help you set up the business plan, help you set up, you know, whatever you forecast, whatever finance. But as it's made clear as well, they don't actually offer finance and
Yeah.
offer advice.
Yeah, and that is the thing you need.
Yeah,
That is the
exactly.
thing you need. You have a bit of a brainstorm,
true.
if you will.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you will.
I love it.
So thank you very much to Mrs. Ida Jackson, who joined us here on the Link Show. But they always say the proof is in the pudding,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that is also what we got to do. So our next guest here on the Link Show is Mr. Trevino Isaacs. Now he is from the Cape. He is a fairly well-known face within the Cape, but he's also a businessman. So we're going to talk a lot to him now. Trevino, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for joining us on the Link Show. It is brilliant to see you. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing well under the circumstances of a blocked nose and a sore throat. I wish I could have joined you in studio. But other than that, I'm well. Thank you.
It's absolutely
Excellent,
brilliant.
excellent.
Listen, so all the people having a look at you now, tell us more about you. What do you do? Who's Trevino Isaacs?
Trevino Isaacs is a boy that grew up in Mitchell's Plain, and I'm doing music directing. I'm a music director for various artists within our city, and sometimes for international artists as well, where I arrange, compose, or produce some music with artists, both local and international. And I'm also the manager and founder, managing director and founder of Mitchell's Plain Music Academy, and then also have Trevino Keys Productions Pty Limited. And so those are some of the roles that I fill, mainly management roles at this stage because of the capacity of our academy at this stage. And that is basically an everyday job, a hands-on job as an entrepreneur.
Excellent. So my question, which is quite a funny one, is how you're affiliated, or let's say, how are you linked to Northlink College?
I'm linked to Northlink College. I started my course, a diploma course in 2016, which was the financial management course at Northlink.
Okay.
Excellent.
So you are an alumni.
There we go.
Basically, yes.
Excellent.
So now you've done the course, and now you're a budding entrepreneur. We're going to get into that as well. But let me ask you this, because I don't know, you know, and Nico sort of touched on it as well. I mean, as a child, what was your dream job? What did you want to do?
Wow. I think in the beginning, what I can remember is, for some weird reason, I wanted to be a construction worker. I don't know why.
Wow.
And then later on, when I went on to school, I wanted to become an accountant. And so I never got to do either one of the two. I found myself doing music, something that I never ever thought I would do.
So you had a bit of everything there. I like that.
And what I'm finding is kind of like, you know, I mean, from finance to accounting to music, was the music passion always kind of there?
Yes, it actually started at 8, 9, where I started with drums, just randomly. In fact, I actually used to travel with my uncle. He had a gospel choir back in the day, institutional. And one day, as he was practicing, I just went into the room while he was busy, and he just showed me 3 chords on the keyboard, just with no intention, just said, yes, C, F, and G major. And then that sparked it. And ever since that, I'm still playing today.
And long may it continue. So listen, here you are, your passion, you're alumni of Northlink. Let's get straight down to business. What made you start your own business?
So when we started in 2014, actually to backtrack it, in 2013 mid-year, I was still living with my parents at the stage, or with my mother, and one student approached me. At that stage, I was just performing in the industry. I was about 23, 22 years old roughly, and I didn't think of starting a music school at all. But this particular student was on school, and he had an audition for the Grahamstown National Festival that happens every year, and there was a school band that he wanted to audition for. And so he asked me if I can help him with improvisation. I said, look, I'm not at that stage. I was not formally trained. I was self-taught for most of my life. And then I told him what I knew, and he got the audition, and he went through, and he had a great time in the Grahamstown. And then what happened, he recommended a friend, and he recommended more friends. And so ever since that time, I didn't plan. I didn't think there was going to be a music school or anything like that. He just started recommending friends. What I did was I asked two of my friends that I knew studied at the time at Stellenbosch University and UCT music. I asked them if they would be able to join me. I said, I don't know where this is going to end up. Let's just go for it. I didn't know what I was going to charge. I had no idea of what this, in fact, I didn't even know it's called entrepreneurship until I went to college for the first time. And I was like, okay, it's called entrepreneurship. So this is what I've been doing all the time. It's just called entrepreneurship. But that is basically how it started and it grew.
Yeah. Listen, that is an exciting story. That is absolutely an exciting story, because I mean, obviously your passion has kicked on with that, which is brilliant. Now, how did you survive through tough times? I'm sure, like any business or anything you do, you know, there's little ups and downs and kinks in the road. How did you cope with that?
I think one of the important qualities to have is adaptability. And especially COVID has taught us that we must be able to adapt to the times. COVID was one of those times where we, in the beginning, weren't prepared. We didn't think anything like this would happen. But luckily, our IT guy that we had, he quickly put us on Microsoft Teams. It came with these various challenges because a lot of students at our Mitchells Plain and our Kraaifontein branch didn't at the time have access to Wi-Fi, or everyone didn't have access to smartphones in the community. And so those were some of the challenges, and we tried to mitigate it by giving some of them data when it was lesson time, sometimes trying to record the lesson, and all the stuff. So it's about adapting to the times. And even in 2014, when we officially started the academy, I had no idea, as I mentioned, what I was going to do. But along the way, I had to figure out what I was going to do. And that pushed me further to go and study, because I knew the academy or the program or whatever business I was going to start will only go as high as my knowledge as the leader and as the founder. And so I pushed myself and equipped myself further. And then that's when I started at Northlink College, and as well as at Stellenbosch University. So I was studying full-time and part-time. I was really pushing myself hard.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Brilliant, man. That's brilliant.
I was going to say, now, look here, I think you got a fan out there. Name is Christine Jacobs, and she's like saying, yeah, Trevor Isaacs. And then I think one of the other one was construction worker. And, you know, there's some people that saying, like Bianca, that's saying she's proud of you. Well, thank you guys, and welcome to the show. So obviously you started your own business and having to be an entrepreneur as well. You know, we all at the end of the day, no matter which business or even in life itself, what was your pitfall? What was the pitfalls for running your own business?
Some of the major pitfalls was not knowing. And we found that every year at open days, people would still tell us, oh, I didn't know there was a music school in the area, in Mitchells Plain or Kraaifontein. And that is a constant reminder that we have to put ourselves out there, and that we weren't actually being as effective in terms of our marketing. And so hence the reason I went back to studying, so that I can equip myself with the necessary knowledge to take this business further and be able to, like I said, adapt to whatever risks and pitfalls is thrown at us at any time.
So there is quite a bit. But now, let me ask you this, because I've got two more questions that I actually want to ask you, but I want to ask you this. If you had 1 minute to pitch your business to your idol, right? You just had 1 minute, 60 seconds, man, to pitch your business to your idol, and I'm sure, I mean, just listening to your passion, you might have a gazillion of them. How would you go about that? How would you do that?
Wow. I would say, hi, my name is Trevor Isaacs. We have a community development program aimed at the youth to equip them with the necessary skills and knowledge to better their lives. There's a lot of underprivileged youth in our communities, and what we do is not only offer music lessons, but we also create a safe space where kids can come and be creative, and it's also a safe haven for them to let out their feelings through an expression called music.
My goodness, that was under a minute.
Sold. So with entrepreneurs out there, the inspiring entrepreneurs, just a single piece of advice to them, to inspire them, you know, considering something, what would that be?
I would say just go with what you have. I didn't know I was going to start this music school back in the day. Like I said, it just fell up in my lap. I had to start lessons, and I had to go and find out how to do this. And at the time, I did not have matric, because I left school in grade 11. to go full-time in music because I was traveling at the time. But later on, I went back to school to go and finish my matric. And so what I want to say is that not having matric or coming from an underprivileged community like Mitchell's Plain and various other communities should not be the reason why we do not go forward. I went later on, I went to go and finish my matric, and then I went to study further. And so the business just grew from that because of the knowledge that I've gained through the various colleges and universities that I attended. So keep working hard. Find out what other businesses are doing within your industry if you don't know how. I like what Cedar is doing. Cedar is available. They offer free advice and support to business owners, and just navigate your way through there and connect with other similar business owners to find out what works for them and try and adapt it to your community or your business environment and see if it will work. It's about taking risks and chances as well.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Christina's got a wonderful comment there that says, this is an amazing young man and he's far too humble in what he's been doing. So thank you for that. Trevino, that is where we're going to leave it. Thank you so much for joining us on the Link Show. It has been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and we wish you well. And may many, many other budding entrepreneurs come musically gifted like you through your hands. It will be brilliant.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
That is Trevino Isaacs, everybody. So yeah, he is he's a business owner, of course, and a very well-known face, especially when it comes to the music industry.
Exactly.
Do you know what, Rhoda? And it is that time where we recap on all the things we've just spoken about, because let's be honest, entrepreneurship is a big thing. It is really the oxygen that you need in order to have a thriving economy. And prospective students are looking at this because we're all thinking that.
Exactly. And you know what is exactly what has been said as well, the fact that COVID at the end of the day has given everybody a knock against the head, thinking that you actually compliant and complacent within your job area. And I think a lot of people then had to realize that being an entrepreneur and having to actually work as well, you find the challenge that you might have lost your job through COVID now because a lot of people lost their work. And you had to come up with an idea on making things, rotis, pies, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, that entrepreneur had to be kicked out of you. So, and this is where I'm liking the conversation today as well, for the fact that, you know what, Northlink at the end of the day has an opportunity to go and find your career, but also assist you as an entrepreneur to be able to say, come, you know what, we'll be able to hold your hand, let's help you.
Yeah, that is what it's about. And it's absolutely brilliant. You definitely got to go check it out. Northlink Business Entrepreneurship Advancement Center, of course. That is what it's all about. And the great thing is, when you study there, of course, you're getting all of this as well. And you're getting that exposure, which is absolutely fantastic. So, you know what, more the reason that Northlink is there.
And exactly. And I mean, looking at Nico Zili, I mean, you're looking at somebody that's been there, 21 years of an experience of being out, you know, having to know exactly what you need. So you're not being led by the blind. It's not somebody that actually doesn't know about entrepreneurship and having to deal with entrepreneurs when he was in the bank. He's a person that was able to tell exactly the way it is. And I mean, this is what I'm loving about, you know, the fact that he's there. You being helped by somebody that knows exactly you know, the pitfalls, the downfalls, you name it. He's
and
there.
here's the cherry on top of the cherry of cake of awesomeness that you get at Northlink. Then you've got Zyda from the Cedar side, who's giving you all that sort of guidelines, you know, which is fantastic. You know, the government requirements, what you need, setting things up, and more importantly, you getting exposed to other people in a similar space.
Yeah. Dougal, you know what the most scary part is of starting your own business, and I'm talking from experience as well, and you know as well, is the fact that you don't know where to start. You don't know how to do this at the end of the day. So how do you start? Would you? Oh my word, yes, Cedar, you know, they'll be able to assist you. You need some help, you know, want to know how to start your business, how to start your own business at the end of the day. You know what? They're here to assist you.
Yeah, it is absolutely brilliant. So, and then of course you had a bit of proof in the pudding there with Trevino Isaacs as well. So to our guests, thank you so very, very much for joining us and for the input. So to Zyda and Nico as well, and Trevino for joining us, and also for you for watching this and for your comments and questions. So yes, you're one step closer to making Northlink your destination for tertiary institution, and that is really what it's all about. So you know exactly where you need to go for all the information. just simply visit the website of Northlink. It couldn't be easier.
Oh, yeah.
That wraps up this link show for today from myself, Dougal, and Rhoda, deaf interpreter Jabbar, and a feeder Kevin. Until next time, thank you very much for watching the link show. Until next time, goodbye everybody.